Hello, this is the Cat's Library. I'll be your librarian today. I couldn't find a good picture to go off of this time, and so I'm going to use a bunch of different references to draw something from imagination. I haven't done this yet for the series, so we'll just have to see how it goes. Engage Speedpaint! I chose a narwhal because I hadn't done an aquatic animal for a while and I sort of forgot that I had the dolphin and the eel already. It's also a very wintry animal, and this is December at the time of making this video. Narwhals live in the Arctic and are closely related to beluga whales. They share territories with each other and can create a hybrid called a narluga. Narlugas are hypothesized to exist since the 1990s, with the discovery of an odd skull that had more teeth than a typical narwhal, who basically just have the one tusk that comes out of the top lip, but less than a beluga. The teeth were short and in a spiral shape. Its hybrid status was confirmed in 2019 with genome sequencing. I pointed that out because I didn't know that before, but this is a narwhal video, not a narluga video, so we'll have to get back on topic before this goes any further. Something else that surprised me was that Wikipedia said that narwhals' conservation status was at least concern. I was under the impression that they were close to being extinct, but perhaps not. The males are the ones who have the big spiral tusks, and the females can have a tusk sometimes, but they are always shorter than the males. There is a bunch of theories about what the tusks do, but it seems like they aren't used in combat with other males and are probably a symbol of health. It may help with fishing, or it might be for sensing the water, since there are nerves in the tusk. The tusk of the narwhal was once thought to be a unicorn horn, which would make it the second animal in the series to be mistaken for a unicorn, with the other one being giraffes. That's probably why the tusk was so easy for me to draw, since I've drawn plenty of unicorns before. It took roughly 2 hours and 9 minutes to draw this. I might re-angle the tusk since it looks out of perspective, but as of now, that's what I have. I had this idea in my head for a somewhat dramatic pose and couldn't find any free images with the head straight on. The plan was to look at images in Google search for mild inspiration, which I followed through with, but I also tried to get away with repositioning the official reference images in my head. The two on the right are both drawings of narwhals, and one of a beluga whale, which I accidentally based the head shape off of for one of the early sketches. Narwhals are simpler to draw than, say, a mink because they don't have as many limbs. The saving grace for this drawing is going to be the lighting. I tried very dramatic yet softly magical lighting. It was inspired by the bottom left image with the sunset lighting. I was in a very Christmassy mood when I drew this. I did my best making him look like he's underwater. I'm getting flashbacks to the ibis video and the kangaroo video with this weird dreamlike stylization that I have going here. This one works better than those ones though, because I think that there's a good balance between the subject being integrated with the background while standing out from it. I didn't have a reference for the background, so it's mostly just a gradient with a few bubbles. With the bubbles, I drew a bunch of circles and then partially erased the middle section. Then I partially erased all of the bubbles and added white highlights on the same layer. Over the top of the bubbles, I added a pastel rainbow gradient to add interest. In the far background, I tried to add interest with a bubble brush, though the one that's already in Photoshop is more of a sparkle brush. I accidentally used the same or similar brush on the narwhal spots, and so that might contribute to everything blending into each other. It was a very simple drawing today. When it comes to stories, I found one heavily paraphrased Inuit myth. This myth is that there was a blind boy living with his stepmother and sister. He managed to kill a bear, but his stepmother lied and said that his arrow missed, and so kept all of the meat for herself. This was part of a long tradition of her not giving her son enough to eat. One day, the woman and her son were out fishing for whales. The son had somehow stopped being blind. Maybe he was just temporarily snowblind or something? Anyway, as they were fishing, the boy tangled his stepmother up in the harpoon rope and tied her to the whale. She had her hair in a tight braid, and she pointed the end at him, which later became a narwhal horn. She asked him why he was doing this since she had taken care of him, and then she turned into a narwhal and swam away with the other whale. The boy and his sister moved to a different town and began a new life. I think that's about it. I've started on the octopus video, so that should be out in a few days. That should also be the last video of the year unless I decide to put something together in the week between Christmas and New Year's. Well then, see you when I see you. Bye!